Hello, Richard speaking, 1, 2, 3, 3. Try you on talk back now.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Jill, oh my goodness me. Jill on talk back in 3, 2, 1.
We are there, yeah. Well, you can't hear us on talk back, obviously. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Yeah. I can't say it's a guarantee. You never know your luck. Should we have a look at the opener? Okay. Yeah. No changes there. Okay. The eyes of the badminton world are focused on India and the capital city of Delhi for the Leaning Thomas and Uber Cups. The world's second most popular city, where cricket is a national obsession, but where badminton is fast gaining popularity. It's a bit loud in my ears, I'm sure. I can't hear any music or anything. Delhi, the political hub of India, city rich in history, culture, taste and ambience. And the world's finest players have been battling it out in the 28th staging of the Thomas Cup. And now we're in today's 6th, the semi-final stage. China looking for an unprecedented 6th title in a row, taking on Japan, looking to reach the final for the very first time. No room for error, the final waits, as does their nation's place in badminton history. Very good afternoon and a warm welcome to day 6 of the Leaning Thomas and Uber Cups. I'm Richard Kaufman alongside Jill Clark. We're at the Siri Ford Sports Complex in the heart of Delhi, a venue that was refurbished in time for the last Commonwealth Games. We're down to 4 and it's the semi-final clash we're focusing on between the defending champions China up against Japan. This is how they got here. Both teams winning their respective groups. Japan reaching the semis by beating France 3-1 yesterday. China toppled Thailand 3-0. The winners of this will face either Malaysia or Indonesia, who will play later tonight. Not so much at stake. China, as is the case with the Uber Cup, the team to beat at the start of the week. Nothing that we've seen so far will change that outlook. They've yet to lose a single rubber. Against Thailand yesterday, it took just 3 games to get the job done. No need for their famous third singles player, 2 times Olympic champion, Lin Dan. Well, they're packed in today, aren't they? There's thousands here. So can Japan upset the defending champions? Well, nothing's impossible. This is a Japanese team with talent. Kenichi Tago has been superb at times, while in Kento Momota, they've a teenage prodigy who can beat the best. They need to be firing all cylinders as they search to make badminton history by becoming the first Japanese team to reach the Thomas Cup final. So this is how they line up then for the semi-final. Some real familiarity in some of the matchups. Game 1 seems long-time foes, Chen Long and Kenichi Tago, while Lin Dan has an I1. So you got the idea, and that's it, yeah. Right, good. Yeah, I mean, I'm a little, I don't know if you're hearing it, sounds a little distorted and loud in my ears. If I'm getting it's fine with you, I'm fine. And I couldn't hear the music when I was very well when I was, oh, I've gone down now a lot.
Yeah, no,
I can't hear myself now.
I can't hear Richard either.
No, they've turned me right down. Jill's very loud. I'm very quiet now.
Yeah.
So if I talk like this,
Yeah,
normal
1,
quiet
2, 3,
speed.
4, 5, 6. I'm too loud in comparison to Richard. I need
Yeah,
more
if
of
I'm
Richard.
talking just at a normal level, you can hardly. Can you hear me talking or not? Can you hear me? 1, 2. Yeah, because I can hardly hear me at all now. Yeah, please, so I don't have to struggle. There we are. That's better. Yeah, that's much better. Thank you. Yep, all good.
I'm good. Yep, all's good. Yesterday we were struggling to hear the umpire at all. I don't know if that's been fixed for today.
Yeah, but we can't hear it, which is obviously if they're saying something to the players, it's a shame the thousands or whoever are watching can hear what they're saying, and we can't, and they'll wonder why we're not reacting when the umpire says maybe something bad to the players or... Yeah, but we can't hear them even when they're introducing the match. Thanks.
No.
I've got one, that's what it is.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. Your graphic there is wrong. one was very good, the other one didn't seem to correspond to the rally we'd actually seen.
Yeah, there was one where it was someone was being. Which game was it? It was the second women's singles, wasn't it?
And the virtual mapping wasn't right.
Saying is you only see the last 10 shots of the rally, Annie. Okay.
It's interesting. An official has just moved that centre bit, moved the crowd. Why? Exactly, he wants the crowd behind the court. Prove it.
The eyes of the badminton world are focused on India and the capital city of Delhi for the Li Ning Thomas and Uber Cups. The world's second most populous city, where cricket is a national obsession, but where badminton is fast gaining popularity. Delhi, the political hub of India, a city rich in history, culture, taste and ambience, and the world's finest players have been battling it out this week in the 28th staging of the Thomas Cup. We're now into day 6, the semi-final stage. China looking for an unprecedented 6th title in a row, taking on Japan, who are looking to reach the final for the very first time. No room for error, the final awaits, as does the nation's place in badminton history. Well, a very good afternoon and a warm welcome to day 6 of the Leaning Thomas and Uber Cups. I'm Richard Kaufman alongside former world #1 Uber Cup semi-finalist Jill Clark, and we're in a very noisy Siri Fort Sports Complex in the heart of Delhi. This is what they're fighting for. Uber Cup on the left, the Thomas Cup there on the right, and who will be getting their hands on that come Saturday and Sunday evening. We're down to the final 4, and it's the semi-final clash here that we're focusing on between the defending champions China and their opponents here this afternoon, Japan. And this is how they got here. Both teams winning their respective groups. Japan reaching the semis by beating France 3-1 yesterday, while China toppled Thailand 3-0. The winners of this will face either Malaysia or Indonesia, who will play later on tonight. Well, so much at stake. China, as is the case with the Uber Cup, the team to beat at the start of the week. Nothing that we've seen so far really changes that outlook. They've yet to lose a single rubber, and against Thailand yesterday it took just 3 games to get the job done. No need for their ever so famous third singles player, the 2 times Olympic champion Lin Dan. So that's the Chinese team huddled together. The Thomas and Uber Cup teams, of course the Uber Cup team also have a semi-final here this afternoon. Japanese players looking relaxed. Right now they do, at least anyway. Can they upset the defending champions? Well, nothing's impossible, and this is a Japanese team with some great talent. Kenichi Tago has been superb at times, while in Kento Momota they've a teenage prodigy who can beat the best. They need to be firing on all cylinders as they search to make badminton history by becoming the first Japanese team to reach the Thomas Cup final. And like their Chinese counterparts, all together, all for one and one for all. It's a familiar routine now, isn't it? Kind of left out if you don't do it. Well, this is how they line up for the semi-finals. Some real familiarity in some of the matchups. Game 1 sees long-time foes Chen Long and Kenichi Tago. Lin Dan's got a 9-1 head-to-head record against Sho Sasaki. Will he be required, though? Only one Chinese men doubles pair inside the world top 10. They're not picks. Momota against Du Peiyu could be a crucial rubber. It should be a cracking tie. So, now time we heard from Jill Clark, isn't it, really? Jill, we've seen the pre-match huddles. We're into the semi-finals. Can Japan cause an upset?
Yes, of course they can. That is, looking at the lineup, it is definitely possible. Kenichi Tago, I feel, has to win this first match. It's interesting, the last time they played, he did in fact beat Chen Long. So there's a possibility. As you say, with the first men's doubles, well, China has not picked their only pair ranked in the top 10 in the world. Of course, Li Xiaolong and Chu Sihan not playing today. They've gone with Hong Wei and Shai Biao. I suspect actually that's the right decision. I think they've been playing a little better. So there, well, that's you have to favour the higher ranked Japanese pair, and that puts Japan 2-love up. Then they only need one more.
Simple as that.
It's possible, you see.
Oh, we're swapping shirts as well. That normally happens at the end of the match, doesn't it? But happening pre-game here. Present each. Our umpire going through the usual riches, the Mauritian Diraj Gunidri. Well, Go on, Jill.
Sorry, Richard. I was just going to say, going back on your point, I mean, of course, China are the overwhelming favourites, but, you know, everybody's expecting them to win. And I've looked at this morning's lineup and I've seen possibilities how Japan could win. Are they likely to win against the defending champions? I was noticing that Du Pengyu yesterday, after his match, was talking about he fights even harder when he's playing for his country, and a lot of the Chinese players feel that. I know that all the teams do. I felt very proud playing for my country too, but when you've got hold of a trophy, it's even more special. You desperately want to keep hold of it, which logic then tells me that China should be winning this semi-final.
Okay, well, this is our first match-up then. Kenichi Tago against this man, Chen Long. Chen Long, the world number 3, the lanky, spiky head, Chinese #1 player right now. Lin Dan maybe might question that. 4 wins out of 4 so far for him this week. This is his win-loss ratio in 2004. Started the year as he ended it with a Super Series win at the Korean Open. Then lost to his opponent today in the Malaysian Open, beaten by Lee Chong-wei in the final of the All England as he tried to defend his title, and lost to the world #1 again in the final in this arena at the India Open. And his opponent is Kenichi Tago. We've seen the brilliance of Tago this week. We've also seen the not so brilliant side of him as well. I wonder which one will turn up today. One of the few players to have beaten the likes of Lee Chong-wei and Chen Long in recent times. Still waiting a first Super Series win, only 24 still. Seems to be around a while. Come through some tough matches so far. Hadn't played any international competition before this week after exiting in the quarter-final stages of the All England. Semi-finalists in Malaysia and in Korea. Last year managed to get to the final of the French Open, losing to Jan Jorgensen. So we know, Jill, that Kenichi Tago has the capabilities. You mentioned there, did win their last meeting, although I did read quotes from Tago after that match saying he didn't think Chen Long was 100% well, and he said that was the main reason why he won. I know they're good friends, and I'm sure he was aware that Chen Long wasn't feeling fully fit that day.
Well, I think he's playing the political game, and he will know, as you've mentioned, he has had wins over Lee Chong-wei as well. As we look at our court officials, of course, when Tago reached the final of that French Open last year in the semi-final, he recorded his first ever win over Lee Chong-wei in his 15th attempt. So he knows he can beat the very best. He's beaten his opponent 3 times previously out of their 9 previous meetings. I think there's a bit of kidology going on there.
Well, as I say, these two go back a long way. They actually met in the final of the World Juniors back in 2007. This man, or this boy as he was then, won that contest. So there's a lot of history between them, as there is in quite a few of the matches we'll see here this afternoon. I mean, Sho Sasaki and Lin Dan have met on a whole host of occasions as well, if we get that far. But there's a lot of respect there, and a lot of knowing each other's game. When we saw Kenichi Tago,
on my right,
just pause
Japan,
for the introductions.
represented by Kenichi Tago. And on my left, China, represented by Chen Long. Japan to serve, love all, play.
So the semi-finals of the Thomas Cup is underway. China looking to make the final yet again. Japan looking to make the final for the very first time. Good start from Tago, who was absolutely superb a couple of days ago when he beat Jan Jorgensen, almost faultless at times, and then what a difference a day makes in yesterday's quarter-final. He lost the opening match against Brice Levedez of France in 3 games. Would never have seen that coming. Which side of bed has he got out this morning?
I think it's quite typical for a player that's been out injured to be a little bit erratic, but I have to say I was astonished by how well the French team played in general, making their first appearance at the Thomas Cup finals, reached the quarter-final, and then starting that quarter-final, as you say, with the first singles, Brice Loverdays beating Kenichi Targo. Yeah, I wouldn't have seen that coming, but all credit to the French team.
And we always talk about,
Service over.
and I know it's kind of, we're repeating ourselves, but in terms of what you were talking about, just in terms of, well, Targo could beat Qianlong, and then you got this double situation where, you know, China have only got their world rank number 15 pair out of there. The first singles, it kind of sets the way, kind of 75% of the time at least, doesn't it?
It sets the tone for the whole match, yes, and everybody feeds off either the success or failure of your number one player. So it's not just a point on the board, it does affect the whole mental attitude of the rest of the team.
And you said, you know, obviously Targo lost to Liverdes yesterday, and I think the matchup between Japan and France was more uneven, that it, you know, didn't affect things. Of course, Japan then won the next 3 rubbers, but when you've got the quality of players throughout the teams that you got here, it really can make that difference.
Yes, and I think that actually the Japanese team against France, I think they were a little bit complacent, to be honest. I don't think they necessarily picked their strongest possible team to play, and because I believe Momoto was rested for that one.
Yeah.
And I think they felt that they were going to win it quite easily, and I suspect Targo was a little bit surprised at just how good Loverdays is as a player.
Yeah, he won't be surprised about what he's going to face from Qianlong, but he's come out here, won 4 of the first 5 points, and he's firing from the very start. Well, just the start they were hoping for. Not missing by much, was it, though, from Qianlong? Of course, in terms of ranking, you can't. Lindan has to go out third, doesn't he, really?
Yes.
They couldn't put him in any higher.
No, the rules of the competition state that you have to go by the world ranking and play your players in order of that world ranking. So you can't. Lindan is actually the 4th ranked men's singles player in the squad here. So his only possibility is to play at 3rd, which means you've got to drop one of the higher ranked players. You can't possibly put him higher, because then you'd have to put doubles players in the singles. You wouldn't be able to play any of your 3 higher singles players.
Kenichi Targo, I think, questioning the call, and now looking for the call to be marked. He thought about challenging, hasn't challenged it, but after just missing the line in the previous point, it looked like Qianlong found it there. He's not a bad 3rd singles to have, though, is he? It's been a good quality start, hasn't it, to this match? And Targo getting the better of the net exchange.
Service over. 6-2.
Of course, we're down to just 2 courts now, so you can see in the background there the Japanese team. They're no longer having to sit behind, they get a side-on view.
beautiful. Oh, no, no, no.
Well, that's unbelievable. Targo thought he'd won the point. He was walking off, wasn't he? As if I've just, there you are, that's a winner, thank you very much. What? You got it back, you cheeky monkey. And wasn't that a lovely little bit of getting to know their relationship there? And they go back a long time, the way they just smiled at each other after that point.
Yeah, that's nice. Huge respect for each other as well as friends. Nicely done. Just a question for you, Richard. You've mentioned the Japanese team sitting in the team seats alongside the court, but the Chinese team not doing likewise. They seem to be sitting behind the court still.
Yeah, that's a good point. And in the Uber Cup clash going on, they're all behind the court. Yeah, it's China versus Korea in the Uber Cup semi-final going on in the adjacent court. Last year's final, or 2 years ago final.
And the one before that as well, if I remember correctly. Where Korea was champions.
Yeah. Targo will be satisfied so far. Certainly won't be any anxiety just yet from Chen Long.
Very interesting, Targo playing his blocks and his net shots to the centre of the court, not giving Chen Long any angle to play with.
Service over. 5, 9.
Well, they have met in the Thomas Cup before, in the quarterfinals 2 years ago in Wuhan. 21-13, 21-16 was the victory for Chen Long then. But well, it might be a different story here today, the way things have started, at least, for Kenichi Targo. He really is finding his range. He's looking more like the player from a couple of days ago that was so superb against Jano Jorgensen. And what was really impressive was he started that match on the other side of the court where it's been difficult to judge the drift as we look at the Thomas Cup trophy there. And he really was one of the really few players who've been the end of the court. We're seeing Chen Long now, and managing to gather the length of his lifts and clears so well. Because it's fair to say Chen Long right now is playing on the tougher end of the court.
Yes, that's right, especially for singles players, because normally in singles the basic tactics is to use all four corners of the court, push your opponent to the back, then bring them forward, make them twist and turn. There we go, to the back again. Bring them in. This is typical singles tactics. And obviously if you're struggling to control the shuttle hitting towards that far end of the court, then perhaps your lifts and clears are not going to be, you're not going to be able to play them quite so often. So you're going to have to attack more, as Chen Long did tried there.
11.
If there hadn't have been a drift, I suspect he may have thrown in another clear.
Well, he just caught his finger there as he played that last rally. Nothing bad, just a little bit of pain. I don't think anything that's caused too bad an injury, but he won't be too happy with the scoreline. Great start from Kenichi Tago, though. The Japanese with the early advantage, 11 points to 6. It's hard to always read too much into the first 17 points, Jill, but there's no doubt Tago's playing well, but I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with the way Chen Long's playing.
No, and I think his style of play, I mean, he's such a physical specimen. You can tell he's got great movement, he's got very, very strong legs, so he'll wear down his opponent.
Well, the Uber Cup, and is that...
That's the Thomas Cup.
I beg the Thomas Cup,
11,
and is that Mr. Thomas on the top of the trophy there?
Sir George Thomas, I don't know.
Sir George Alan Thomas, I'll have you know. He was an early badminton player from the early 1900s. He apparently it came about, he was inspired watching Davis Cup. The start of the World Cup, of course, was in the 1930s, and he wanted something like that for badminton. And here we are now in the 28th edition.
Yeah.
It was held every 3 years initially, now of course biennial.
13.
Of course, slight change this year. The 16 nations, no pre-qualifiers was there. It was all done on world rankings. From Target. You do look at him when he's playing like this, and I was saying I saw it a couple of days ago in the match against Denmark. You just do wonder why he hasn't gone those couple of steps further yet in his career. I know he's still fairly young.
Yeah, well, he has reached a Super Series final each year for the last 4 years, so...
But he hasn't... Actually, I know it's not easy to win, I know that.
Yeah.
But you look at his talent. I mean, look at the way he's playing here at the moment, and he's got lovely tight net shots, and he's got the power. I mean, mobility.
He's got everything. He really has got everything. I mean, I think for some players in an awful lot of sports, you get a mental block. He's been in 6 Super Series finals now. Well, you know, I predicted last year for the Japan Open, got my predictions totally wrong. But I thought at the time he had lost 4 Super Series finals, and I related to Ivan Lendl and Andy Murray, and thought, well, after the 4, the next one he's in, he's going to be winning. That seemed to be the sort of trend, but it didn't happen for him. And I think in a way he's now got this mental block that he can get to finals, but he can't make that final step, and he needs to break that run, and the sooner he does that, the better.
Because it doesn't matter really necessarily the opponent, you know. At the French Open, you know, as we saw, he dismantled Jano Jorgensen a couple of days ago, but the French Open, he lost to the Dane.
Yeah, I think the problem is that he will have looked at the draw in Paris and said, okay, right, I've got to battle through to the semi-final. I've lost to Lee Chong-wei 14 times. I'm going to build up for that semi-final, and having finally got his first ever victory in his 15th attempt, to him in a way that was his final.
Yeah.
And he had forgotten in a way. And I think India women Uber Cup squad have got to be very wary that they don't do the same thing tonight. They will have looked at this Thomas and Uber Cup finals here in their home country. They will have said we've got to qualify for the quarterfinals. A semi-final was a dream, but there is a semi-final they could win. So, like Targo in Paris, you've got to follow through right through the tournament.
Yeah, you could say that was the last Targo in Paris.
Service over, 15-8.
Yes, anyway. 15-8 to Kenichi.
That, to me, was a shot that wasn't quite natural for Chen Long. I think under normal circumstances he probably would have cleared that. It was a very, very good lift from Targo. Normally he wouldn't try and create angles like that. He'd work the rally a bit more.
Oh, 8-point gap. So with double Chen Long's points tally so far. What a start this is from the Japanese player, and you have to say this opening game at the moment looks as if it's beyond the world number 2 I should say.
Service over, 9-17.
And the players having a little towel down while the court once again is being mopped after Targo's little fall there. Chen Long, well, he would have known what to expect from Targo here today, but Targo's plan is working thus far. That will be a big boost to them if we can take this opening game.
Service over,
He's been made to try and create angles out of nothing. Chen Long, this is very clever from Targo.
Well, that's just Long, but bear in mind Chen Long hasn't dropped a single game all week so far. 4 wins out of 4, all in straight games. But he could be about to go a game down here against Targo. That's more like it.
11-18.
Well, can he claw back something from this opening game, make a fight of it?
Yeah, blocked in the middle of the court again.
A lot of power there, wasn't there?
Service over, 19-11.
Well, Targo wants the court mopped. The umpire is saying no. I'm bewildered by that, I have to say.
And Targo, look at that, here, here, here and here.
Yeah, The last thing he needs is another injury. He's only just come back from injury problems.
You can sort of understand it from both camps though as well, because you know we do like to see play speed up as well, but then again we don't want to see an injury. We saw Lee Chong Wei have a bit of a fall yesterday. He says he's fine. A little bit of a foot issue.
Yeah, if a player gets injured, we won't see any badminton. So, you know, would you rather have a player have a quick break there while the court is mobbed and us being able to enjoy the whole match?
Oh yeah, well if that's the choice, yes. But you also have to be wary of players who are trying to eat up a bit of time and trying to take a breather as well.
And that's where good umpiring comes in, because there's a sense from the umpire a player is trying to waste time. We have to say that in the Uber Cup last night there was a match where there was a player definitely trying to waste time and asking for the court to be mopped, and in those circumstances it is very right and proper and good umpiring that the umpire says no. But here we are, we're how many minutes into this? We're 20 minutes in. I mean, I've watched both these players play matches an hour and a half. They're not struggling with fitness at the moment. The only reason they would ask for the court to be mopped if it is dangerous.
Joy with his smashes to the Chen Long backhand, and it's brought up 7 game points for Kenichi Tago.
First game won by Japan, 21-30.
Well, there we go. 21-13. Kenichi Tago wraps up the first game. A really terrific performance from him. Chen Long, well, has he got his battling powers with him today? And a little bit of talk here, I think, about the mopping of the court that we saw in a couple of points ago. The Japanese coach just making the point, I think, that Jill was. But it's good news otherwise for Japan. They've taken the opening game. So we're going to have a look at one of the rallies here from this opening game between Chen Long and Kenichi Tago. Point one by Tago.
Yeah, it was a very good rally, but what was interesting to me in the middle of that from Tago, just to give himself some time, well, there was a couple of nothing shots, as you can see there. Played back to the centre of the court, regrouped, gave himself time. And get back in the rally. It was a fabulous rally, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and we saw quite a few terrific rallies, which you'd expect given the calibre of players that we've got out there here this afternoon. So Chen Long, can he force this into a third game? Can Tago maintain his excellence? Can Japan get off to the dream start and really make
Second game.
this more unlikely scenario of beating China a real possibility? That's a pretty good start from him.
Yes, and I think what we'll see in this second game from Kenichi Tago is him using his angles on his attacking shots a lot more. He will know that he's really got to play the shuttle in a downward direction. Oh, that's good judgment.
Love.
Really good judgment from Targo. Oh, brilliant.
It is interesting, though, both of them initially playing their net shots and blocks back to the centre of the court. Once it had gone out wide, that's when there was possibilities. Yeah, it's keeping everything really, really tight at the moment, Targo. And the thing is with Targo, when he does play down the centre of the court, whether it's a body smash like that or blocking his net shots to the centre of the court, Chen Long's got no angles to work with. And Chen Long, as a player, is much more of a reactive player. But as he's not winning at the moment, he will feel the need that he's got to try and create something out of nothing.
But he's got something there. Targo this time leaving it, this time getting his judgment wrong. As Targo found the perfect angle, well inside the court. But it's getting to a point in the match now where it's getting into a sticky situation, isn't it, for Chen Long?
Yeah, suddenly injection of pace from Chen Long. Pounced going forward.
Whoa. It looked like it was going well wide, and then the drift seemed to bring it back in. It's normally been going the other way, the drift, but that was close, wasn't it?
No, I think the line judge got that right. I think
Yeah.
it was just wide. But I agree, it looked as if it was going to go a long way out.
No challenges yet from either player. Of course, they have the referral system available to them to use Hawkeye. 2 challenges per player. Thought it was going out again. Targo realised it wasn't, and of course his indecision proved fatal for him in this point. It's been a terrific first game for him, but he just wondered down this end what sort of matchup we'd have again with Chen Long, be able to stamp his influence on the match, but he hasn't been able to. Oh, another lovely tight net shot from Target.
It's going wide.
Yep, you're right. 7-3, Jill.
Keita Masuda, his coach.
Well, they're meeting for the 10th time in senior international tournaments.
Okay, thank you.
The last one went Kenichi Tago's way at the start of this year. Some worried faces on the fans of China here. Remember, they have won every match to 0 in the group stages. 5-0, 5-0, 5-0. Yesterday in the quarterfinals, they won 3-0. I suppose it doesn't matter if you win 3-0, 4-1 or 3-2, but it's about getting there. But made a bit of tension in that one from Targo.
4-7.
Yeah, I suspect he probably changed his mind. Initially it looked to me as if he was going to lift the shuttle, and then his thought process was, crikey, that's going to be dangerous, it could go long, got to play back to the net. Brilliant.
Service over.
Well, you have to say, a lot of his play today has been brilliant. At the moment, he is the superior player here by a distance. Can't work it out yet. There's another one.
Yeah.
Glorious.
9-4.
It's much harder work physically when you play from the fast end of the court, because you've got to play the smashes, you've got to play the angled shots, and then be prepared to go forward to play the net shot. Your opponent's likely to lift you to the back again. Wide.
Wide. But how good was the lift there from Target? I mean, he's got the measure of the drift here, hasn't he, down this end of the court?
I've been very, very impressed with him. I didn't see that match the other day that you were talking about, where he started the bad end against Jorgensen and managed to control the shuttle. And
so much so that Morton said, "Oh, I think the drift's changed." You know?
Yeah.
Gordon Frost, who was in the commentary box for that match, and yeah, and then he realised, no, it wasn't. It was just Targo. Look at him now, like a jack-in-a-box springing up there. And look at this. It's a commanding lead for Kenichi Targo. And we could have an upset right at the start of this Thomas Cup semi-final. He is getting better as this match goes on, and he started it pretty well. 21-13 in the first game, now 11-4 to Targo.
Court 1, 20 seconds. Court 1, 20 seconds.
Not over yet. And you certainly will feel that, but if this man carries on playing like this, it's hard to see a way of getting it turned around. So Kenichi Targo, well, he just has to try and maintain this excellence and get the job done now. Chen Long needs to show some real scrapping abilities, doesn't he? 7 points adrift in this second game, and that isn't the kind of start he wanted after the interval. muttering to himself, trying to raise his standards. He needs to.
That's gone wrong as well.
30, go!
This is a good rally. And that's the sort of rally that will really suit Chen Long.
She's enjoying herself. And trying obviously in action on both courts. Not going too well for them here though, is it? Just wide from Chen Long. Another look of anguish from him as Targo takes another step closer.
Brilliant net shot.
Service over, 6, 14.
Yeah, I think he was right to go for the attacking overhead Targo. Seemed to mistime the jump or something. Yeah, I think he was on his way down as he actually struck the shuttle. That's just extraordinary. It's almost as if Chen Long is panicking. He's trying to go for winners. He's trying to find the lines.
Well, I think that's all down to what's happening down the other end of the court. Everything he's trying is coming back, and it's like he's run out of ideas. And that's down to this man's play, really.
Yeah, tactically played very well.
Oh, another super shot from Targo. And it's a big gulf now, isn't it? 10 points between them. Well, it looks like it's beyond Chen Long right now. Something's got to really happen for the momentum to swim back in his favour here. That's Long by a long distance.
17, 6.
I mean, it's all very well. I mean, this is the world number 4 playing in the world number 2. You know, it shouldn't be a huge, gigantic shock if Targo beats Chen Long, but what is a big surprise is the scoreline right now.
Yeah.
Service over, 7, 17.
Nearly got over.
I think what also has been a surprise to me is that Chen Long really hasn't, you know, obviously things aren't working for him. Why on earth hasn't he completely changed his tactics and said, okay, right, I'm going to go all out attack because my normal style of chasing the shuttle down simply isn't working today. My opponent's playing too well, so the way to stop him attacking is for me to attack first. He's just not doing it.
No.
Service over, 18, 7. Service over, 8, 18.
Oh, that's brilliant. Perfect net shot. Yeah, well, that's possibly one explanation as to why Chen Long has been lifting the shuttle, is because Targo has played the net so well. Forced the short lift.
He's played everything pretty well, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Net shot, lifts, the clears, the smashes, whatever's come his way, he's looked right on it. Two points away from victory now, Targo.
Service over, 9, 19.
Next match, 4-2. First,
And match points have arrived. Oh, how about this for a start to the Thomas Cup semi-final?
9.
Been given in, one save, but there's another
Service
10 to
over.
go.
10, 20.
Peter Masuda looks so nervous, doesn't he, at the back of the court?
Well, he's
11.
just going for it now, isn't he, Chen Long?
Yeah, we see this attacking play. Why on earth wasn't he doing that earlier?
It was the point you were making about 5 or 6 shots ago. Well, he wins it in style. It's a stylish performance. And what a start for Japan in their bid to reach the Thomas Cup final for the first time. Kenichi Targo has got his team off to a winning start with an exemplary performance.
By Japan, 21-13, 21-11.
He really was at the races right from the start, and there was nothing Chen Long seemingly could do about it. Missed the winning point, and it was another which was right at the line from the Japanese player. Fantastic performance. Dream start for Japan. They are now 1-0 to the good. So Kenichi Targo has given Japan just the start they were looking for. He came out playing just like the player we saw a couple of days ago. How on earth did he lose yesterday, you wonder, to Levedez? No disrespect to Levedez, but when Targo's playing like this, surely any player in the top 20 of the world rankings. 21-13 in the first game, and then even better in the second. There wasn't too much of that, was there, in terms of positivity for Chen Long? There was more of that. Really was expecting at some point the resistance from Chen Long. It just didn't come. You can see him muttering to himself there. He got understandably pretty frustrated. So important, these first matches. They can sometimes set the tone for the day. I wonder if Targo has here. Well, it's one of the points in the game. We're going to have a look at shot tracer. One of the points Shenlong actually won. Didn't win that money through the match. So this is what it looks like in terms of animation. Just shows you how much they run around. But the match didn't last that long, did it? Less than 50 minutes on court. World Thomas Cup semi-final. It's at the Sirifort Sports Complex in Delhi, and a surprising scoreline early on here. China 0, Japan 1. And they have the world number 3 men's doubles pair next out on court to the Japanese. It's 21-13, 21-11. That's the start from Kenichi Targo against Shenlong. You can see men's doubles off next. Hiroyuki Endo and Kenichi Hayakawa coming out against Chai Biao and Hong Wei.
Presented by Chai Biao and Hong Wei.
Well, a bit of pressure on Chai and Hong now. Real opportunity for Endo and Hayakawa. They've stuttered a little this week. Well, wonderful, as I say, chance here for Japan. Targo has done his bit. Now it's up to Endo and Hay.